Chosen one, listen closely. This is not a coincidence. Heaven has stopped everything around you to bring this message straight into your spirit. You have been pushing, striving, stretching yourself, trying to carry weight that was never meant to be yours. But right now, the shift is already moving for you. You don't need to run harder. You don't need to force anything. You don't even need to figure it all out. You are being asked to do the most radical thing: rest. Beloved, you are not ordinary. You have been set apart, marked with a calling that does not look like the world's path. And I know you've been asking, when will things finally move for me? The answer is hidden in this very moment. God is rearranging everything while you stand still. Your stillness is not weakness. Your silence is not failure. It is in the quiet that God is bringing order, sending angels ahead, and breaking chains behind the scenes. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not be afraid." Think of the sleepless nights you've endured, the tears that soaked your pillow, the moments you wanted to give up. Every trial has prepared your spirit for this exact shift. While others scramble and fight for scraps, you are entering a season where doors open without you pushing them, where favor locates you without you chasing it. Your rest is not idleness, it is alignment. Chosen one, there is a table being set for you in the presence of your enemies. The people who counted you out will watch you rise, but not because you labored harder than anyone else. No, the glory will be so undeniable that all will know it was God's hand that carried you. When you stop, He starts. When you release, He provides. When you rest, He builds. This is why you cannot go back to old patterns. You cannot return to a life of panic, of trying to prove yourself, of needing validation from people who could never see your worth. You are moving into a divine shift that makes the approval of man irrelevant. Heaven's stamp is already on your life. You don't have to fight to be seen. He has already marked you, chosen you, appointed you. So now I ask you, will you dare to rest? Will you dare to believe that God is working while you wait? This is not about laziness. This is about faith. Faith is not just about doing, it's about trusting. It's about sitting in the eye of the storm and declaring, I will not be moved, because the one who called me is faithful. You need to hear this. Your future is not fragile. Your destiny cannot be delayed by human hands. What belongs to you will not miss you. Every setback has been a setup. Every closed door has been divine protection. The shift is happening right now, and your only job is to rest in it. If this word is reaching your spirit, then pause right here. Lift your head. Take a breath. Feel the peace of heaven wrapping around you. You don't need to scroll further to find another confirmation. This is the confirmation. Chosen one. Subscribe right now so you don't miss what is being poured out in this season. Like, share, and leave your voice in the comments, because your engagement is not random. It is prophetic agreement. It is you saying, yes, I receive this word. Yes, I choose rest. Yes, I trust the shift. And now, as an act of faith, type this number in the comments, 999. This is your declaration that you are stepping into the completion of one season and the birth of another. Chosen one. Let us speak of the weight you have carried, the wounded glory that has followed you all your life. Every scar on your heart, every disappointment you buried, every rejection you endured has been shaping the vessel you are now. You were never fragile. Even in your lowest moments, your spirit remained unbroken. Though the world tried to convince you otherwise, the nights you cried in silence were not wasted, they were counted. The heaviness you bore was never a sign of weakness. It was proof that heaven trusted you with battles few could endure. You see, your story is not one of constant striving, but of endurance. Others may not understand the pressure you faced. They saw glimpses of your struggle, but not the crushing weight behind closed doors. Yet still you rose. Still you kept walking. Still you believed, sometimes with trembling faith, sometimes with nothing but a whisper. That persistence is why you are here, standing in this moment of shift. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Chosen one. Think about it. If the struggles were meant to destroy you, you would not be here. If the betrayal was meant to silence you, your voice would not still be rising. If the pain was designed to crush your purpose, you would not still feel this fire inside. The very fact that you survived is proof that you were chosen, sustained, preserved for this precise season. And now, you are being invited into a paradox. The same God who allowed you to face intense storms is now calling you to rest. It feels unnatural, doesn't it? After years of learning to fight, to defend, to push, now you are asked to simply be still. Yet it is in stillness that your restoration begins. Your wounds are not blemishes. They are sacred markings of survival. They tell heaven's story, written upon your soul. The rejection taught you compassion. The delays birthed patience. The loneliness sharpened your discernment. Everything that felt like it was tearing you apart was secretly building you up. But hear me clearly. This is the season where striving no longer serves you. The battles of yesterday have closed. The wilderness has done its work. Now your healing will not come from effort, but from surrender. You will not need to carry what is already being lifted from you. Rest is no longer optional, it is essential. Chosen one. I know sometimes the memory of wounds rises suddenly. You recall the voices that doubted you, the friends who left, the prayers that seemed unanswered. But every one of those moments has been accounted for. None of them fell through cracks, unseen by God. Each tear watered the soil of your breakthrough. And now, you are about to see growth springing forth where pain once lived. So, breathe. Let the weight fall. Lay down the invisible armor you wore for so long. The time of defending yourself has passed. You no longer need to prove your worth. You were always chosen, always loved, always destined. Even as you read these words, something inside of you is exhaling. The tension is loosening its grip. The burden is lightening. You are finally being permitted to rest into the truth you have already overcome. The shift is not demanding that you fight harder, but that you receive deeper. The wounded glory you carry is not a limitation. It is your crown. Chosen one. Pause for a moment. You have been trained to keep moving, to keep proving, to keep showing the world that you are worthy. But what if heaven is telling you the opposite? What if the loudest act of faith you can demonstrate right now is to simply be still? There is power in silence. There is victory in waiting. Many times, You thought, if you didn't act, everything would fall apart. That was the lie of fear. Fear told you that you were holding the world together with your bare hands. But truth whispers something else. You are not holding it together. God is. You are not responsible for orchestrating the timing, aligning the opportunities, or making people see your worth. That weight does not belong to you. Your assignment is simple: rest in trust. The prophet Elijah understood this when he stood on the mountain, waiting for God's presence. There was wind, there was earthquake, there was fire, yet God was not in those. Then came a gentle whisper. That whisper carried more power than the noise. And you, chosen one, are being called to tune into that whisper again. According to what is revealed in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." Understand this: your rest is warfare. Darkness trembles when you refuse to be rushed. The enemy cannot manipulate someone who is anchored in peace. Anxiety loses power when you refuse to chase. In stillness, you regain clarity, strength, and discernment. What others call inactivity, heaven calls preparation. And here is where you take part. As an act of agreement, I want you to comment these words: I choose rest. Do not dismiss this as small or symbolic. When you type it, you are sealing a covenant with your own spirit. You are declaring publicly and prophetically that you are stepping out of striving and into trust. This is not about typing letters. It is about releasing a truth that anchors you. Every declaration written has power. By saying, I choose rest, you are announcing to your future, to your past, and to the unseen realm, I will no longer be driven by fear. I am aligned with the shift. Chosen one. When you write it, pause it afterward. Let it sink into your heart. Feel the permission it gives you to finally breathe. For years, people told you rest was laziness. That was never true. Rest is obedience. Rest is surrender. Rest is strength clothed in quietness. You may feel tension when you try to stop. Your mind may resist, bringing up unfinished tasks, unsolved problems, unanswered questions. But the very act of resisting that urge to keep running is where your faith grows. Faith is trusting that God will handle what you cannot. Faith is believing that the unseen work is far more important than the visible hustle. This season is not about proving. It is about positioning. When you position yourself in stillness, heaven positions opportunities for you. The right people, the right doors, the right timing will align without you forcing them. The soil does not strain to grow the seed, it simply receives the rain and light. You are that soil. Your rest is the environment for your destiny to flourish. So let this be your declaration today. Write it, speak it, believe it. I choose rest. That phrase is your key into the shift. It is your banner in the spirit. Your reminder when anxiety tries to rise again. Say it until your heart believes it, until your body exhales it, until your future reflects it. Chosen one, this is your moment. Step into rest, for heaven is already at work. Chosen one, let us uncover the mystery of what is happening around you, the shift itself. You have sensed it deep within you. Though you may not have had the words to describe it, everything feels unsettled. almost as if the ground beneath you is moving. People are coming and going from your life in unexpected ways. Old habits are falling off. Desires you once held no longer carry weight. This is the evidence of transformation, heaven realigning your steps. The shift is not chaos. Though it may look like it from the outside, it is divine reordering. The things you used to chase are losing their hold because they were never your true inheritance. The relationships that are dissolving were never meant to carry you into the next season. Even the opportunities that slipped through your hands were never truly yours. Every change is a carving, a shaping, a removal of what cannot go with you into destiny. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 9. He has saved us and called us to a holy life, not because of anything we have done, but because of his own purpose and grace. This grace was given us in Christ Jesus before the beginning of time. Do you see it? The shift is not random. It was written before the foundation of the world. Chosen one. This is why you could not make sense of your struggles in human terms. Destiny was already written over you. Grace was already marked on your life. Every step you have walked, even the ones you thought were detours, were carrying you toward this moment. The shift is heaven's timetable, overtaking your own. And yet, the shift requires something from you. It requires trust. When the old falls away, it is natural to grieve. When doors close, it is natural to question, but what looks like loss is actually clearing. The soil must be broken before new seeds take root. You cannot harvest without disruption. Think of how seasons change in nature. Leaves fall, branches look bare. The world feels stripped, but beneath the surface, new life is forming, unseen. The same is happening within you. The stripping away is not punishment, but preparation. The silence you feel is not abandonment, but gestation. Something sacred is forming in the hidden places of your life. Chosen one. The shift is not only around you, it is within you. You are being rewired. Patterns of fear are breaking. Cycles of striving are ending. A new rhythm is being written into your soul. You are learning to hear God in ways you never noticed before. In the pauses, in the stillness, in the unexpected. What felt like confusion is actually clarity emerging from the ashes of the old. This is why you cannot return to what once was. The old methods will no longer work because the season itself has changed. Just as a tree cannot hold on to last year's leaves, you cannot hold on to expired assignments. The Spirit is gently, but firmly, removing what would weigh you down in the days to come. And so, embrace the strangeness of this time. You are being shifted, elevated, repositioned, not by your own effort, but by divine orchestration. The shift is proof that heaven has not forgotten you. It is the signal that the prayers you whispered in private are now being answered, though not always in the form you expected. Chosen one. Breathe this truth in. What is leaving your life is not meant to stay. What remains is what has been appointed, and what is coming is beyond what your imagination can hold. The shift is not the end, it is the beginning of the fulfillment you have been waiting for. Chosen one. The shift is not only stripping away, it is recalibrating you. Think of a finely tuned instrument. Even the smallest misalignment can create distortion in the sound. In the same way, your spirit is being tuned to match heaven's frequency. Every adjustment, every delay, every pause has been part of the Master's hand, aligning you for harmony with his plan. There were times you felt out of sync, like you were always a step behind or a beat ahead. But this season, heaven is bringing you into rhythm. Opportunities will arrive at the exact moment your heart is ready. Connections will form when your character has been prepared to hold them. Even your desires are being transformed so that what you long for matches what you are destined for. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 37, verse 23. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. You see, your steps are not random, they are ordered. What looks like wandering is actually divine choreography. The pauses you once resented were God ensuring that your next movement would not collapse under pressure. Chosen one. Recalibration often feels uncomfortable because it disrupts what is familiar. But consider this: if you continued living by the patterns of the past, you would miss the melody of your future. God is pulling you into a new tempo, one that requires surrender but produces beauty. And this is where I want to speak to your heart, not just as a messenger, but as someone walking this journey with you. If these words are resonating in your spirit, then you are not alone. You are part of a community of chosen ones being recalibrated together. That is why I ask you to stay connected. Take a moment to like this message. Share it with someone who may need this confirmation. And subscribe so you can continue walking in step with what is being released. This is not about numbers or platforms. It is about ensuring that no one misses the divine instructions for this season. Your simple act of staying connected may be the very link that encourages another, chosen one, not to give up. The recalibration you are undergoing is not just for you. It is for those who will be touched by your story. When your steps are firm, when your spirit is aligned, your presence will bring stability to those around you. You will speak peace into chaos, direction into confusion, hope into despair. But first, you must allow heaven to finish the tuning process in you. Chosen one. Trust the pauses. Trust the stretching. Trust even the closed doors. They are all part of the adjustment. Sometimes, what feels like rejection is actually redirection. Sometimes, what feels like delay is actually divine protection. And sometimes, what feels like silence is simply God tuning your heart to hear Him more clearly. Do not despise this process. It is holy. It is necessary. It is forming in you a strength and steadiness that nothing will be able to shake. When the shift settles, you will stand as one who not only survived, but was refined. And those who once doubted you will recognize the unmistakable sound of heaven flowing from your life. Chosen one. Take heart. You are being recalibrated, not for smallness, but for greatness. And the hand upon you is steady. Trust the tuning. Trust the rhythm. Trust the one who conducts the song of your destiny. Chosen one. Listen carefully. Mercy is moving over your life right now. For years, you wondered if you had already missed your chance. If your mistakes disqualified you. If the detours cost you too much. But the truth is, mercy has been guarding you. Mercy has been the invisible shield that kept you from destruction. And now, in this holy moment, mercy is not only guarding it, is stepping forward to usher you into a fresh beginning. Think of the times you almost lost everything. The moments when darkness tried to pull you under. The choices that could have destroyed your future. Somehow, you came through. That was not luck. That was mercy. Heaven's compassion intercepted the plans of the enemy and gave you another chance. The prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 2, Lord, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds. Lord, repeat them in our day. In our time make them known. In wrath remember mercy. Mercy is not a soft idea, it is a force. It is the very reason you are still standing. Chosen one. The shift you are experiencing right now is powered by mercy. This is why you don't need to panic. This is why you don't need to force anything. Mercy is making sure that what was meant for harm becomes your testimony. Mercy is rewriting the script where you thought the ending was final. But you must also know this. Mercy is not something to take lightly. Mercy is holy ground. It comes with an invitation to respond. When mercy steps in, it is not only to comfort you, it is to call you higher. It whispers, don't go back there. Don't repeat the cycles. Don't waste this chance. The door is open, but it will not remain open forever. To honor mercy is to step through before it closes. You are at a threshold. On one side is everything familiar but draining. Everything that stole your peace. Everything that tried to bury you. On the other side is newness, restoration, peace, and a life aligned with your purpose. Mercy is the bridge between them. You do not need to build the bridge. It already exists. You simply need to walk it. Chosen one. Right here and now. I ask you to make a prophetic act. As a sign that you are receiving this mercy, that you are not letting it pass by. Type this number in the comments. 4,444. Why this number? Because it symbolizes the establishment of stability, a divine foundation being laid under your feet. When you write it, you are declaring that your life is being secured, that mercy has fortified your steps, that nothing will collapse beneath you again. Do not dismiss this as just typing digits. When you engage with a prophetic act, you are aligning the seen and the unseen. You are saying, I step into the stability heaven has prepared for me. I will not live in instability any longer. Every keystroke becomes a declaration in the spirit. Chosen one. Feel the seriousness of this. Mercy is not an endless invitation. It is a gift extended now, in this season. For this purpose, respond to it. Embrace it. Walk across the bridge before it closes. The shift is not random, it is mercy's hand moving you, and you will never be the same. Chosen one. This is the moment to unlearn what the world taught you about hustle. From childhood, you were told that the harder you strive, the more worthy you are. That if you do not constantly perform, you will be forgotten. That success is earned by endless effort, even if it costs you your peace, your health, or your soul. But heaven is teaching you a new rhythm, fruitfulness that flows not from force but from rest. The culture around you glorifies exhaustion. People wear their busyness like a crown, as if being drained is proof of importance. Yet deep inside, you always felt different. The endless race never satisfied you. The striving only made you feel more empty. That is because you were not created for hustle. You were created for flow. You were designed to live from overflow, not depletion. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 22, the blessing of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it. Do you see it? True blessing does not require you to destroy yourself. It is not the fruit of frantic activity, but the result of alignment with God's timing and grace. Chosen one. Unlearning hustle means confronting the lies you believed. The lie that rest is laziness. The lie that slowing down means falling behind. The lie that your value is tied to how much you produce. Every one of these lies has kept you chained to a system of performance that was never meant for you. Rest is not idleness, it is trust. When you rest, you are declaring that you believe God is working even when you are not. You are proclaiming that provision does not come from your endless striving but from His hand. To rest is to rebel against the lie of self-sufficiency and to embrace the truth of divine supply. Think of the manna in the wilderness. God provided daily bread for His people. Yet He commanded them not to hoard or overwork. He even gave them double on the 6th day so they could rest on the 7th. Why? Because He wanted them to know that their survival and success did not depend on their effort, but on His faithfulness. The same is true for you. Chosen one. Unlearning hustle also means shifting how you measure success. It is no longer about applause, numbers, or recognition. It is about peace, alignment, and purpose. What good is gaining the world if your soul is weary? What good is climbing ladders if every rung drains your spirit? True success is being where God wants you to be, at the pace He has set, carrying the peace that cannot be stolen. This shift will not be easy. You will feel the urge to slip back into striving, especially when others around you continue to measure worth by busyness. But remember, you are not like the rest. You are chosen to model a different way, a way of overflow, of fruit born in quietness, of victories achieved through surrender. Chosen one. As you release the hustle, you will notice something powerful. Fruit will begin to grow in places you did not even labor. Doors will open without you forcing them. Opportunities will appear without you chasing them. Your life will bear witness that blessing flows not from exhaustion, but from abiding. So, let the striving fall away. Breathe out the weight of performance. Step into the rhythm of grace. For you were never called to hustle, you were called to shine. Chosen one. Silence has often felt like emptiness to you. You grew up in a world that measured value by noise, by action, by constant movement, by the endless clamor of proving oneself. Yet it is in silence that some of your greatest encounters await. The shift that surrounds you is not only external, it is drawing you inward, into the secret place where heaven speaks in ways that words cannot capture. In the stillness, you begin to notice what striving drowned out. You sense the rhythm of your own heartbeat, steady and strong, reminding you that life flows without your conscious effort. You feel the breath moving in and out of your lungs, unforced, sustained by something greater than your will. These are not accidents. They are daily reminders that God is sustaining you in every quiet moment. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 62, verse 1, "Truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him." This is more than poetry. It is instruction. Your soul was never designed to find peace in achievement, applause, or approval. It was designed to find rest in God alone. Chosen one. Silence is where encounters are birthed. It is where you discover whispers that cannot be heard in noise. Think of Elijah. Waiting on the mountain, he saw the fire, the wind, and the earthquake. But God was not in any of those. Then came the gentle whisper, and that whisper carried the weight of heaven's presence. That same whisper is reaching you in your moments of stillness. Do not be afraid of silence. At first, it may feel heavy, even uncomfortable. You may face thoughts you tried to avoid, emotions you buried, questions you postponed. But these are the very places where God longs to meet you. He does not meet you in pretense or performance. He meets you in the raw honesty of silence. In those encounters, you will find clarity. Questions that once tangled your mind will begin to loosen. Fears that shouted loudly will begin to fade. You will sense direction without striving to figure everything out. Answers that seemed hidden will rise naturally. Like sunlight breaking through fog, the silence does not leave you empty. It fills you with truth, with presence, with peace. There are treasures in silence that you could never access through noise. Wisdom waits there. Healing waits there. Reassurance waits there. Sometimes, what you thought you needed from people or circumstances is actually waiting for you in stillness. You do not need to strive for it. You need to sit with it. Chosen one. Think about the times when you felt overwhelmed, when your world seemed chaotic, even in those seasons. If you closed your eyes for a moment, you caught glimpses of calm, a reminder that the storm outside did not dictate the stillness inside. That stillness is where you meet God. That is where heaven's encounters come alive. Encounters in silence will also reshape how you see yourself. In the noise, you are tempted to wear masks, to play roles, to prove worth. In silence, all of that falls away. There is no audience to perform for, no scoreboard to measure against. In the quiet, you stand as you truly are, beloved, chosen, marked, and in that authenticity, you discover the beauty of being fully known and still fully loved. This is why the shift is drawing you inward. It is not punishment, it is invitation. Heaven is pulling you into the space where encounters transform you. You do not need to fear the quiet, for in the quiet, your soul will find what it has been searching for all along. So, step into silence, not as emptiness, but as fullness waiting to be revealed. For in the stillness, heaven whispers your name, chosen one. You may be asking yourself, how do I know this shift is real? How do I know I am being prepared and not just standing still? The truth is, heaven always leaves signs. Just as the seasons announce themselves through changing skies and shifting winds, so your preparation is marked by subtle yet undeniable signs. The first sign is the restlessness you feel in old spaces. What once satisfied you no longer does. Conversations that used to excite you now feel shallow. Environments that once felt comfortable now feel too small. This is not boredom, it is heaven stretching you. When your spirit outgrows a space, it is a sure sign that you are being prepared for more. The second sign is the pruning of relationships. People may drift away, sometimes suddenly, without explanation. It can feel like loss, but it is alignment. God is making room for those who will walk with you into the next season. Not everyone can carry the weight of your destiny. Some are removed, not because they are bad, but because they are not assigned to where you are going. The third sign is the stirring of new desires. You begin to long for things you never cared about before. You feel drawn toward purity, toward purpose, toward peace. The things that once tempted you lose their grip. This inner transformation is not something you forced. It is being planted in you. Your appetites are changing to match your calling. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you, nor forsake you. Do not be afraid or discouraged. The signs of preparation are not just random, they are proof that he is going ahead of you. Another sign is the resistance you face. Yes, resistance is a sign. If opposition has increased, it is often because darkness senses your rising. The pressure around you is not to break you, but to shape you. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and so is your destiny. Every challenge that confronts you now is sharpening the very strength you will need in the next season. Chosen one, do not misinterpret these signs. Restlessness is not failure, it is transition. Loss of people is not rejection, it is protection. New desires are not confusion, they are alignment. Resistance is not punishment, it is preparation. Each sign is heaven's confirmation that you are being set apart for something greater. And now, I want you to seal this truth with your declaration. Write in the comments, I hear you, Lord. These 4 words are simple, but they shift everything. By writing them, you are acknowledging that you recognize the signs, that you are listening to heaven's voice, and that you are ready to respond. It is your way of saying, I am attentive, I am willing, I am prepared. Do not take this lightly. Words shape worlds. When you declare, I hear you, Lord, you are breaking agreement with confusion and fear. You are stepping into clarity and obedience. You are aligning your heart with the one who goes before you. Chosen one. Preparation is not always comfortable, but it is always purposeful. Every shift, every sign, every tear is aligning you with the crown already waiting for you. Embrace it. Believe it. Declare it. Chosen one. The weight you have carried is not invisible. It shows in the tiredness in your eyes, the heaviness in your steps, and the sighs you release when no one is listening. For so long you thought this weight was simply part of life, something you had to bear because of who you are. But in this season, the shift is removing burdens that were never yours to carry. Heaven is saying, lay it down, release it. You are not called to walk bent under the load of yesterday. Sometimes the heaviest weights are not physical but invisible. Guilt clings, shame whispers, regret echoes, worry presses down. These unseen stones make the journey harder than it should be. Yet hear this clearly, the shift is lightening you. The chains are being broken, the baggage is being lifted. What once defined you will no longer dictate your future. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. Since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and run with perseverance the race. Notice the invitation it is to throw off what hinders. You are not commanded to carry it forever. You are empowered to release it. Chosen one. As this shift removes the unnecessary weight, you will find your steps lighter. Joy will return where heaviness ruled. Peace will flow where anxiety drained you. What once felt impossible will suddenly feel natural. Not because the challenges vanish, but because you are no longer dragging the past behind you. This release requires trust. Some burdens have become familiar, almost comfortable in their pain. Letting them go feels strange, like stepping into unknown territory. But trust that what you release will be replaced with something greater. Where shame leaves, Honor enters, where fear departs. Courage arrives, where regret fades. Purpose emerges. Do not confuse release with loss. You are not losing, you are gaining space for what is truly yours. A garden cannot flourish if it is choked by weeds. Likewise, your destiny cannot blossom while cluttered by unnecessary weight. The pruning is painful, but the fruit is sweet. And hear me with love, your journey was never meant to be walked alone. This is why I invite you, sincerely and with a full heart, to stay connected. Like this message, if it is speaking to you, share it with someone who is also carrying a heavy weight, someone who needs to hear that freedom is possible. Subscribe so you will not miss the words heaven is releasing in this season. This is more than digital interaction, it is community. Every time you engage, you are helping create a circle of chosen ones who are rising together, who remind one another that the weight can be released and the race can still be run. Think of how many people are silently struggling, convinced they must carry everything alone. Your act of sharing may be the lifeline they need. Your decision to stay connected may ensure you keep receiving the encouragement that lifts you when you feel like collapsing. This is not about numbers, it is about souls. It is about chosen ones finding strength in each other as the shift unfolds. Chosen one. You are not destined to live under heaviness. You are destined to run light, to walk free, to move boldly into the calling ahead of you. The shift is not only changing what happens around you, it is changing what happens within you. Release the weight, step into freedom, and walk with your head lifted high. For you are chosen, and your steps are ordered. Chosen one. When the shift begins to move in your life, there will always be tests, not the kind designed to fail you, but the kind designed to reveal what has been built within you. Waiting is one of the greatest of these tests. It strips away the illusion of control and asks the question, do you trust the one who holds your future? The waiting season can feel unbearable. You pray, but the answer seems delayed. You prepare, but the door does not open. You believe, yet circumstances remain unchanged. In those moments, discouragement whispers, maybe nothing is happening, but in truth, everything is happening. Waiting is never wasted. It is the forge where faith is purified and endurance is formed. We find in the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. The waiting is not abandonment, it is assurance. What God started in you, he will finish. Chosen one. The test of waiting exposes motives. If you only worship when doors open, is your worship about God or about the gift? If you only obey when rewards are immediate, is your obedience genuine? Waiting strips away transaction and reveals devotion. It teaches you to love the giver above the gift, the caller above the calling. There is also a refining in the stillness. Impatience rises to the surface, but so does resilience. Doubt confronts you, but so does deeper faith. Every day of waiting is a mirror showing you where you lean on your own strength or on His. And though the mirror may not always flatter, it heals. It reminds you that growth is happening even in silence. Think of a seed buried underground for weeks, sometimes months. Nothing appears above the soil, yet below, unseen to the eye, roots are anchoring deep. Strength is forming in darkness. so that when the sprout finally breaks through, it will not wither. Your waiting is that underground work. Though others may see nothing, heaven sees roots. The test of waiting also exposes what is temporary. Many people drift away in your silent seasons. Those who only stayed for your shine may vanish when the light dims. Do not grieve too deeply over this. Waiting seasons sift relationships, leaving behind those who are truly assigned to your journey. Chosen one. Understand this: your waiting does not weaken you. It is shaping you. It is stripping away illusions and strengthening your spirit. Every unanswered prayer is not a rejection, but a redirection. Every delay is not denial, but preparation. Every silent day is not emptiness, but fullness, unfolding quietly. Hold fast, for the test is proof that something is coming. God does not test what he has no intention of blessing. Just as Abraham's test revealed his faith, your waiting reveals that you are ready for what eyes have not yet seen. So, do not despise the waiting. It is holy ground. It is proof that your destiny is too great to be rushed. And when the waiting breaks, when the door finally swings open, you will know it was not your strength, but his faithfulness that carried you through. Chosen one. The waiting will not last forever, but the fruit of what is formed in it will remain for eternity. Chosen one. The shift does not unfold in chaos, it unfolds in perfect alignment. There are moments when you sense that heaven is arranging details you could never control, weaving together strands that seemed disconnected. Suddenly, what once felt delayed begins to make sense. You realize the timing you thought was late was, in truth, divine. Alignment is heaven's signature, and you are walking into it now. But alignment is not just about what happens around you, it is about what happens within you. When your heart is surrendered, when your choices reflect obedience rather than fear, when your desires line up with God's will, then you become a vessel ready to receive what is appointed. Heaven will not waste resources where there is no readiness. But you, chosen one, are being prepared in every detail. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Notice the certainty. It does not say some things, but all things, even the mistakes, the detours, the heartbreaks, everything is being woven into the fabric of your destiny. Alignment often feels subtle. You may suddenly feel nudged to release a habit, to walk away from a draining relationship, or to pursue a path that others do not understand. These nudges are not coincidences, they are heaven aligning you. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, becomes a stepping stone toward fulfillment. Sometimes alignment shows up as closed doors. You may cry over them, not realizing they were never meant to open. Later, you see clearly, rejection was protection. Other times, alignment shows up as opportunities that feel bigger than you. You wonder, am I ready? But the very fact that it arrives is proof that heaven has already declared you ready. Chosen one. Alignment is also about timing. Think of the stars in the night sky. To the naked eye, they seem scattered, yet astronomers know they form patterns, constellations, harmony. In the same way, your life may look scattered now, but heaven is arranging every piece into perfect order. When it clicks, it will not be by your striving, but by God's orchestration. This is where I ask you to respond, not with striving, but with faith. As a prophetic act, type this number in the comments, 555. Why this number? Because it represents grace multiplied, favor unfolding, and divine alignment in action. By writing it, you are declaring, I receive the alignment heaven has prepared for me. I trust the order of my steps. I welcome the grace that goes before me. M. Do not dismiss this as random digits. Prophetic acts are declarations that echo beyond the screen. When you type 555, you are stepping into agreement with heaven's order. You are saying, I no longer fight the current, I flow with it. I no longer chase, I receive. I no longer fear delays, I trust timing. M. Chosen one. Alignment is proof that heaven has not forgotten you. Every detail is being arranged with precision. Even now, as you read these words, something in your spirit feels the pull, the sense that pieces of your life are beginning to connect. That is not imagination. It is alignment awakening within you. Walk with confidence. Trust the nudges. Embrace the timing. Heaven's alignment is unfolding, and you are exactly where you need to be. Chosen one. Authority is not earned by endless activity. It is not proven by how many hours you labor or how many battles you fight in your own strength. True authority flows from identity, and identity is anchored in rest. You are not powerful because you never stop moving. You are powerful because you are rooted in the one who called you. The world has taught that influence comes through striving. Build more. Do more. Achieve more. And then maybe you will be recognized. But heaven teaches a different pattern. Authority is bestowed, not bargained for. It is carried, not chased. You walk in it when you align with the source, not when you exhaust yourself proving your worth. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 6, "And God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus." Notice the position. It is not standing, struggling, or striving. It is seated. To be seated with Christ is to operate from a posture of rest, from authority that does not waver, because it is grounded in Him. Chosen one. This is the revelation you are being ushered into. Your power is not in frantic action, but in your presence. Darkness trembles, not because of your effort, but because of your identity. When you step into a room, the atmosphere shifts, not because you shouted louder than the voices around you, but because heaven's mark rests on you. Authority without activity may feel foreign. You may look around and wonder, am I doing enough? Should I be pushing harder? Yet the very fact that you are chosen means your being carries weight. The spirit within you speaks louder than the noise of hustle. Your silence, your peace, your stillness can dismantle chaos more effectively than frantic words. Think of Jesus in the storm. The disciples panicked, bailing water, shouting, exhausting themselves in fear. Jesus, however, slept. His rest was not ignorance, it was authority. When he finally rose, one word from his mouth stilled the wind and waves. That is the picture of authority without activity. You do not need to flail when you know the storm is subject to your voice. Chosen one. Your life is shifting into that dimension. You are learning that the greatest battles are not won by frantic motion, but by steady faith. Authority rests in knowing who you are and whose you are. From that posture, you will speak, and see change. You will pray and see mountains move. You will simply show up, and darkness will scatter, because your presence announces heaven's government. This is why you are being called into deeper rest. Authority cannot flow through a restless heart. When you are tangled in anxiety, your voice wavers. But when you are anchored in peace, your words carry weight. Rest sharpens your authority because it strips away doubt and fear, leaving only truth. So, do not despise the quiet seasons. Do not resent the stillness. They are forming in you the kind of authority that does not need noise to be effective. You are learning to walk as one seated, not striving, chosen one. Your authority is already established. You do not need to prove it. You need to walk in it. You do not need to chase it. You need to rest in it. And as you do, you will see influence flow, not through endless action, but through the undeniable mark of heaven upon your life. Chosen one, you may not realize it, but your presence changes rooms. Even in silence, you carry something that cannot be explained by human logic. The shift is not only shaping your personal journey, it is shaping how your life impacts others. This is the mystery of community in the Spirit, when chosen ones gather, even without striving. An atmosphere of rest flows outward like a river. For years, you may have believed that your influence was small, that your quietness made you invisible, but heaven sees it differently. Rest itself carries power. When you walk in peace, those bound by anxiety feel relief. When you choose trust, those drowning in doubt feel faith rise again. You may never preach a sermon or lead a crowd, yet your stillness speaks louder than many voices. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Unity does not always require noise or activity. It begins with hearts aligned in rest. Chosen one. The community of rest is not about gathering around busyness, competition, or constant effort. It is about gathering around presence. When chosen ones carry rest within them, they create safe places for others to breathe, to heal, to simply be. This kind of community heals wounds that striving never could. Think of it like a fire. One flame warms only a small space, but many flames gathered together create a blaze that lights the night. Your rest, combined with the rest of others, becomes a beacon. It draws the weary, the broken, the ones who do not yet know they are chosen. Without a word, the atmosphere announces, here is peace, here is safety, here is home. The community of rest is also a shield. Isolation leaves you vulnerable to lies and attacks, but unity builds strength. When your faith wavers, another's rest steadies you. When you forget who you are, another reminds you, this is not weakness, it is design. Even the strongest need the presence of others who carry the same light. Chosen one. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your rest. You may feel you are doing nothing, but others watching your life will see the difference. They will wonder why you are not panicked when storms rage, why you still smile when circumstances shake, why you walk lightly when others are weighed down. And in that wonder, seeds are planted. Your rest becomes an invitation. Without speeches or arguments, you embody a way of living that points back to God. People drawn to your peace will unknowingly be drawn toward him. That is how community is built, not always through programs or structures, but through lives that quietly radiate presence. Even now, heaven is forming connections for you. Some will be lifelong, others seasonal, but all are purposeful. You will meet those who carry a rest like yours, and together you will become a living testimony that striving is not the way trust is. Do not resist this community. Even if you have been hurt before, the Spirit is gathering people who will honor, not drain, who will build, not break, who will walk beside you, not weigh you down. You are not meant to carry rest only for yourself. It is meant to overflow. Chosen one, step into the truth. Your rest is not just for you. It is a gift for the community. Heaven is shaping around you. And as you gather, silently but powerfully, the world will see a new kind of strength rest that transforms, unity that heals, presence that speaks louder than words. Chosen one, you are entering the season where the harvest comes easily. For years, you sowed in tears, worked in silence, and pressed forward without seeing the full fruit of your labor. But now, the ground beneath you is different. The atmosphere has shifted. Seeds that once seemed buried are breaking open, and growth is springing forth faster than you imagined. The harvest you are about to see is not the result of hustling harder, but of surrendering deeper. This is why heaven asked you to rest, because when you stop striving, he starts multiplying. What you could not make happen in years will bloom in moments. What once felt locked away will suddenly stand before you, ripe and undeniable. The prophet Isaiah declared in chapter 65, verse 24, "Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear." Chosen one, the ease of this season does not mean the journey was wasted. Every tear, every late night, every disappointment became water for the soil. Heaven never ignored your sacrifices. They fertilized the ground. That is why the harvest is so abundant now, because it carries not just fruit, but testimony. Each blessing that arrives is a reminder that your labor was not in vain. And here is the truth: you are not meant to keep this to yourself. The harvest is not only for your table, but for others who have been hungry for hope. This is why I ask you, sincerely, to let your voice be part of this movement. Like this message, if it is watering your spirit, share it with someone who has been sowing in tears, so they know that joy is coming. Comment your agreement so that the words are not just heard, but sealed in your spirit. And subscribe so you do not miss the continual flow of encouragement and prophetic direction. This is not about building numbers. It is about ensuring that no chosen one walks through their harvest alone. When you engage, you are not only receiving, you are planting back into others. Your share may be the seed that awakens someone else's harvest. Your comment may be the confirmation that keeps another chosen one from giving up. Your decision to stay connected may be the bridge that carries you and countless others into the fullness of this season. Chosen one, the harvest will also silence your doubters. Those who questioned your calling will have no choice but to acknowledge the fruit. Those who mocked your waiting will witness your reward. The beauty of this harvest is that it will be undeniable. No one will be able to claim credit but God. Do not fear the abundance. Do not shrink back as if you are unworthy. The harvest is not random, it is your inheritance. You were always meant to carry this abundance, not as a burden, but as evidence of who you are, chosen, called, and crowned. And as the blessings flow, remember the lesson of rest. You are not being elevated to return to striving. You are being elevated to remain in peace. To let overflow become your rhythm, and to model for others that blessing flows from alignment, not exhaustion. Chosen one, lift your eyes. The fields are ready. The fruit is ripe, and the harvest you are stepping into will be the loudest testimony of all that surrender is never wasted, and trust always leads to abundance. Chosen one, every season of transformation requires a new rhythm. What once carried you will not sustain you now. The shift you are walking in is not only about release, not only about harvest, but about sustaining what heaven is entrusting to you. To do that, you must embrace a rhythm that flows with grace rather than force. For much of your life, your rhythm was survival. You woke each day measuring how much you could carry, how many battles you could fight, how far you could push yourself before breaking. That rhythm produced exhaustion, not fruit. It left you constantly drained, wondering if peace was only for others. But now, heaven is writing a new song over your life, a rhythm of rest and renewal. The Apostle Paul declared in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Chosen one, this new rhythm begins with how you see time itself. No longer do you live in panic, as if everything must happen immediately. Instead, you recognize that every day carries its own grace. Some days are for sowing, others for watering, others for resting, and others for reaping. Your task is not to control the sequence, but to stay present in each moment, trusting heaven's order. This rhythm also requires boundaries. You cannot pour endlessly into others without allowing yourself to be refilled. Rest is not selfish, it is stewardship. By honoring your need for stillness, for silence, for restoration, you ensure that what flows out of you remains pure and strong. The enemy would love to trap you in cycles of burnout, but this shift calls you to cycles of overflow. Another part of your new rhythm is listening. You are being trained to discern the gentle nudges of the Spirit. Instead of rushing into decisions, you pause, you listen, you wait for alignment. This pause is not delay, it is precision. Each choice made in alignment multiplies fruit, while choices made in haste scatter energy. The rhythm of heaven is slower than the world's pace, but it produces more. You will also notice that your relationships begin to move to this rhythm. Some will not understand. They will still chase, still hustle, still measure worth by exhaustion. But you, chosen one, are called to model another way. Your peace will speak louder than their panic. Your steadiness will reveal that there is a higher path. This does not mean you abandon them, it means you hold firm to the rhythm given to you. And in time, some will be drawn into it. Do not be surprised if at first you struggle to adapt. Old habits will whisper, the urge to run ahead will rise. But every time you choose stillness over striving, trust over panic, presence over distraction, you reinforce the new rhythm, like learning a new song. It may feel awkward at first, but soon it will flow naturally, and your entire life will move in harmony. Chosen one, your new rhythm is not about inactivity, it is about aligned activity. You will still move, but not in chaos. You will still build, but not in exhaustion. You will still give, but not from emptiness. This rhythm ensures that you are always replenished, always anchored, always flowing from a place of abundance. This is how you sustain the shift, not by chasing it, not by forcing it, but by living in the rhythm heaven has written for you. And as you keep that rhythm, your days will no longer feel like battles for survival, but like steps in a dance that was choreographed before time began. Chosen one, you have reached the crown moment. This is the culmination of every trial, every waiting season, every hidden preparation. The shift has carried you through valleys and lifted you onto heights you once thought unreachable. Now, heaven is placing on your head what has always been reserved for you, a crown, not made by human hands, but by divine decree. The crown is more than a symbol of honor. It is evidence of identity. You are not crowned because you hustled harder than others, nor because you forced doors to open. You are crowned because you endured, because you trusted, because you chose to rest when the world told you to strive. Your crown is not earned, it is received. The Apostle James declared in his letter, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." Chosen one. The crown moment is not flashy. It is not announced by fireworks or applause. It comes quietly, like dawn breaking after a long night. One morning you realize the heaviness has lifted, the striving has ceased, the shame no longer speaks. Instead, peace rests on you like a mantle. Joy rises in you like a river, and authority flows from you like fire. This is the sign that the crown has been placed. With the crown comes responsibility, not of striving, but of embodying what you carry. You are now a witness to others of what it looks like when someone surrenders to the shift. Your life becomes a testimony that peace is possible, that healing is real, that God's promises are faithful. You wear the crown not to boast, but to shine light for others who are still in their wilderness. Chosen one. Do not be surprised if some cannot recognize the crown on you. Not everyone will see it. For it is not made of gold or jewels, but of authority, presence, and peace. Those with spiritual eyes will notice. Those hungry for rest will be drawn to it. And those who doubted you may feel unsettled, because your rise confronts their disbelief. But whether seen or unseen, your crown is secure. This moment is also a commissioning. Heaven is not just crowning you, it is sending you. You will walk into places where anxiety reigns and bring peace. You will meet people crushed by shame and remind them of mercy. You will encounter those trapped in striving and show them another way. Your crown is not just for you, it is for every soul your life touches. And as you step forward, remember the rhythm you learned. Do not return to old burdens. Do not trade your crown for hustle. Guard the rest that brought you here, for it will be the foundation of all that unfolds. Chosen one. Lift your head. Feel the weight of glory resting upon you, not heavy like the burdens of yesterday, but light, radiant, undeniable. You have been prepared, refined, and chosen for such a time as this. Walk forward now, crowned, called, and commissioned into the fullness of your destiny. Chosen one. As this journey comes to a close, take a breath and remember every word that has been spoken over you, from the awakening of your spirit to the release of your crown. You have walked through valleys, endured the waiting, unlearned the hustle, and discovered the authority of rest. What you carry now is not just knowledge, it is transformation. You are not the same as when you began. You are lighter, stronger, crowned, and commissioned. The shift is not a moment, it is a lifestyle. It is the steady unfolding of grace that will continue to guide you long after these words fade from your screen. And the truth you must hold on to is this: you are chosen. Nothing can strip that identity from you, nor delay, nor rejection. No voice of doubt can erase the mark heaven has placed upon your life. And now, I ask from the depths of sincerity, if this journey has spoken life into you, let it also speak life into others. Like this message as a sign that it has touched your spirit. Share it with someone who may be standing on the edge of giving up, so they too can remember that mercy still calls their name. Comment your thoughts, your agreement, your declaration. For words have power, and your engagement seals the truth you've received. And subscribe, not as a routine, but as a choice to remain connected to the flow of encouragement and revelation prepared for you. Chosen one. Walk forward, lift your crown, shine your light. For the best is not behind you, it is ahead.